Mani Ekaniskabarana Savartasaha. And the word for word, Sham, sky bluish, Abadataha, glowing, Shata Patra, lotus flower, Lochanaha, eyes, Kishanga, yellowish, Vastra, clothing, Surucha, greatly attractive, Supeshasha, growing youthful, Sarve, all of them, Chatu, four, Bahavaha, hands, Unmisham, rising luster, money, pearls, Praveka, superior quality, Yishka Abarana, ornamental medallions, Suvarchasaha, effulgent. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. The inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planets are described as having a glowing, sky bluish complexion. Their eyes resemble lotus flowers. Their dress is of a yellowish color, and their bodily features are very attractive. They're just the age of growing youth. They all have four hands. They are all nicely decorated with pearl necklaces with ornamental medallions, and they all appear to be effulgent. Report. The inhabitants in Vaikuntha Loka are all personalities with spiritual, bodily features not to be found in the material world. We can find the descriptions in the revealed scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam. Impersonal descriptions of transcendence in the scriptures indicate that the bodily features in Vaikuntha Loka are never to be seen in any part of the universe. As there are different bodily features in different places of a particular planet, or as there are different bodily features between bodies in different planets. Similarly, the bodily features of the inhabitants of Vaikuntha Loka are completely different from those in the material universe. For example, the four hands are distinct from the two hands in this world. And if no one objects, I'll continue to read the next verse in purport. Pravala Vaidorya Minala Varchasa Harisvarat Kundala Mali Malinaha. Translation. Some of them are effulgent like coral and diamonds in complexion and have garlands on their heads, blooming like lotus flowers, and some wear earrings. Purport. There are some inhabitants who have attained the liberation of Sarupya, or possessing bodily features like those of the personality of Godhead. The Vaidurya diamond is especially meant for the personality of Godhead, but one who achieves the liberation of bodily equality with the Lord is especially favored with such diamonds on his body. Text 13. Rajishnavirya parito vibrajate lasad vimanavalibir mahatmanam vidyotamana pramodatama dubi savidyud abravalabir yata nabaha. The Vaikuntha planets are also surrounded by various airplanes, all glowing and brilliantly situated. These airplanes belong to the great Mahatmas or devotees of the Lord. The ladies are as beautiful as lightning because of their celestial complexions, and all these combined together appear just like the sky, decorated with both clouds and lightning. Purport. It appears that in the Vaikuntha planets, there are also airplanes brilliantly glowing, and they are occupied by the great devotees of the Lord with ladies of celestial beauty as brilliant as lightning. As there are airplanes, so there must be different types of carriages like airplanes, but they may not be driven machines as we have experienced in this world. Because everything is of the same nature of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, the airplanes and carriages are of the same quality as Brahman. Although there's nothing except Brahman, one should not mistakenly think that there is only void and no variegatedness. Thinking like that is due to a poor fund of knowledge. Otherwise, no one would have such a misconception of voidness. As there are airplanes, ladies and gentlemen, so there must be cities and houses and everything else, just suitable to the particular planets. One should not carry the ideas of imperfection from this world to the transcendental world, and not take into consideration the nature of the atmosphere, which is completely free from the influence of time, as previously described. I'll stop here. Om Jnana Timirandasya Kinangana Shalakaya Chakshur Amritam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I offer my respectful obeisance unto my spiritual master, who's opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge, which are darkened by ignorance. So this is very, very wonderful, astounding information. We are very fortunate to be able to hear it. Very, very fortunate. Such detailed information of the spiritual realm is very scarce in this world. I don't know of any other literatures or sources of information that speak in such detail about the spiritual realm. There is, there is information about the astral realm. There are people who have described it, but the spiritual realm of Lord Vishnu, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is only to be found uh, within the Vedic scriptures. So this is very astounding information, unbelievable, fantastic. There are many people who might think it to be a fantasy. It is certainly transcendental, completely different from, imagine you're watching the television and or streaming video, the news, and you see headlines. So the inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planets are described as having a glowing sky bluish complexion, and they fly airplanes, and the ladies there are very beautiful. Astounding, amazing information. And why do we accept it? Or why do we hope to accept it? Why? Why do we? Why do any of us here right now believe this or wish we believed it? Someone can, why? Someone can comment. Why do you accept this information?
Because it's written in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Because it's written in the Srimad, it's written in these books of spiritual wisdom. May I ask why? Anyone can write anything. I could write something. Why do you accept Srimad Bhagavatam?
These are the scriptures. These are the ancient scriptures, and they have been spoken. They are not been written by mere mortals. I mean,
They haven't been given by mere mortals. Is that what you said? How do you know that? Or why do you believe that?
they are ancient. They have been there since so many years, centuries, and so many yugas. That is the absolute truth.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but sometimes it's good. Although it can be a little unsettling, it's good to really look in our heart sometimes and ask ourselves, why do I believe this? Why do I accept it? There are reasons, of course, for each of us. So Srimad Bhagavatam, the scriptures, they're very ancient. They've been around a long time. So this helps to give you confidence that there's something to it. Anyone else? Someone else? Why are you here today? Why waste your time? Why do you believe there's something to this?
Hare Krishna
I know
Prabhuji.
you're what?
Uh, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisance. I think just in continuation of Kirtika Mataji's comment, because Srimad Bhagavatam, they are the words of the Lord. I mean, just as the Lord, there's no beginning and there is no end. Similarly, the Vedas, we don't know if there is no beginning. If the Vedas are eternal, they come directly from the Lord because they are the Lord's words. So they are as eternal as the Lord himself. So they've been put into books because for our so that it can be, the knowledge can be disseminated to mankind. But it's the Lord's words put into books, and
So you have confidence, if I understand correctly, you have confidence because you accept this as being um, from a superior source, from God. Is that right?
yes.
And why do you believe that? Did you see God speak these words? Did you see him write them down? How do you know? Or what gives you confidence to believe that, if you don't mind sharing?
No,
What if
Prabhuji.
someone asked you on the street, your aunt asked you, why do you believe that?
Um, would it be because it's through parampara, so we can trace it back to Lord Brahma? I
I
don't know.
mean, is that why you believe it? Because you accept it? I mean, why do you have confidence? Because of this disciplic succession?
Um, I think it's a combination of everything, Prabhuji. It's also it's also because when the knowledge that is given, I mean, of course there is the belief factor of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and we are we see that, but it's also what you feel, because when you read this and it gives you the same effect as when you're chanting the names of the Lord, just as it gives you happiness. So something from within is also revealed, and you can feel that after, if you really.
So you feel
Yeah,
something spiritual.
and it's
It gives you confidence this is real.
yeah, yes. I
Okay.
suppose it's a combination of everything. Yeah. Sorry,
Mhm. Okay.
probably
That's
not the
good. Yeah.
answer.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Some relative asked you, why do you believe these books? Why do you believe in this? Why are you listening to it? What would you say?
Uh, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances,
I know
Prabhuji.
about you. You're brainwashed. The Hare Krishnas put hypnotism spell on you. So
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dennis Prabhu.
Yes.
I'm
So
making joke. Go ahead.
I would think, because just like I did not see my great grandfather, and maybe my uncles told me how he was, I am also at the mercy to believe some things by some people who have actually been to maybe Vaikunta. So I will I'll want to be when I find a bona fide source that will tell me how my grandfather was. I will not really argue so much, because I know I cannot really say my grandfather right now, but I know he actually existed. So even the Vaikunta, I believe there are some sages who have been there, and they have written
So
it down.
are you saying that by your common sense or your logical thinking, it seems right to you? That's one reason you accept or trying to accept.
Yeah, I cannot be able to compare. I cannot come to the reason with my common sense actually. So I have to go to a source that have been, that have seen what the truth is.
So you have some confidence or faith that someone understands things that you don't, and they can explain them.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Anyone else? How would you answer that? Someone asked, why are you reading these books? Why accept this?
Hare
Has
Krishna,
everyone,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji. When I
Krishna.
first started reading the Bhagavatam from Canto 1, I just couldn't put it down. I was addicted to it. So there is something there in the Bhagavatam that, as it says, it's so nectar-like. Even if you had no belief in it before, when you start reading it, and there's so much to learn and to understand from the Bhagavatam. I feel it is very special, and only special people will be drawn to it, to read it, I feel, because of the Lord's blessing that will draw them to his teachings.
Mhm. So you feel something, and you know it's something special,
Yes,
and
yes,
that helps. So it helps to give you confidence. There's something here.
yes, I feel it's very, very addictive. I used to call it my bestseller when I was reading it. I couldn't put it down. I
Uh-huh.
just loved it so much. So,
Now, Hare Krishnas really have a spell on you.
yes, no,
We've got you
it really,
addicted.
it,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Uh, I think that's all of us here, except for me. But one thing I remember, Srila Prabhupada was asked the same question, or he asked the same question a few times. This question, I think it was on the morning walk. So many devotees were around him. So one time, so he asked, "Why are you here?" And so then one one time, a disciple answered, "Well, Bhagavad Gita, it's the word of Krishna. It has the absolute truth. Uh, you know, it's the best truth." Srila Prabhupada said, "No, that's that's not the answer." So then someone else said, "Because I feel happy." And she said, "Yes, that is why you were here, because you like it. It feels good."
yes.
But then another time he was on a morning walk and he asked the same question, "Why are you here?" And someone said, "Because we like it." And he said, "No." So then someone said, "Because it's very logical and rational and philosophy." He said, "Yes, that's why you." So sometimes Srila Prabhupada would be a little humor like that. And
It's a
in
ve-
huh?
sorry, go on.
No, I'm done.
I was saying it's a very, very special feeling, such a happy feeling. And I actually, my friend was reading it, and I said, "What is this Bhagavatam you're reading about?" And she told me she had set a target to read it by August. So I bought a set and started reading it. But it just lifts your mood so
Uh,
much. It's a
mm,
very, very happy feeling reading it.
ah. So you should be the marketing. You should be with the marketing division of ISKCON. Yeah, very
Yes, I
good.
think I'll sell a few. Mm.
Very good. Yeah, that's just your honest, genuine feeling. And I was going to say that isn't it that Lord Krishna says the same thing, something like that in his Bhagavad Gita. Uh, Arjuna was asking that how can I control myself from sinful activities, and what did Lord Krishna say? That it is possible by experiencing param drisva nivartate, a higher pleasure. And elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains how the yogi experiences real spiritual pleasure. In the 6th chapter, he says that the yogi, feeling such boundless happiness, is never shaken in any circumstance. Because we all want to be happy, and if something is giving us happiness, then it's a good thing, hopefully. Uh, it's something that we experience. No one has to tell us anything. It's our experience. And Bhagavad Gita has many instructions by Lord Krishna how one can experience. It's not meant to be just having confidence, some belief, but it's supposed to be that each of us can experience and should experience. Brahmabhuta prasanatma na sochati na kankshati. Malabhate param, Lord Krishna says that when one is situated on the platform of spirituality, real spirituality, uh, according to degree, of course, then not sochati, not kankshati. We don't lament, or we lament a lot less that I don't have this or I lost this. And not sochati, not hankering. Oh, I wish I had this. If I had this, then I would be happy. So all of that becomes much less because we're already happy. I mean, talk about wealthy. Isn't that wealthy? I mean, people they have these big careers and occupations and build big companies and millions of pounds and mansions in the country, and they're doing things to be happy. But the devotee of God, of Krishna, can be happy without doing all that. So that's just so wonderful thing, actually. And along the same lines, isn't it? People are often addicted. We humans, we get addicted to different things and suffer so much, isn't it? So much. Addiction to making money and addiction to fame and drugs and sex and liquor and so much suffering. People end up stealing and doing criminal things to support their habit. And then maybe almost as bad is that uh, when we know it, we're addicted to eating and we know it's not good, and our body is getting bigger and bigger and unhealthy, and we can't stop. That's just horrible, horrible thing for a man or woman addicted to sexual activity and having affairs and all kind of ghastly things, and many of them wish they could stop. Horrible. Uh, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajaguna Samudbhava, Lord Krishna says that the lust for sensual enjoyment, material enjoyment, it burns like fire. It burns, actually. And is never satiated. So, a little spiritual happiness, a little spiritual peace, how valuable is that? Wow. And that, however valuable that is, Srila Prabhupada said that if you could understand how fortunate you are, you would dance like peacocks. So like when the peacocks in the hot summer season in Vrindavan, when the monsoons come, they dance. They're just so happy with the cool rain. Samsaradava Nadalita Loka Tranaya Karunya Ganaganapa Praptasya Kalyana Gananava Vande Goroshi Charanaravinda. The prayer to Sri Guru. Samsaradava Nadalita Loka, that you are putting out the fire of samsara, delivering me from the ocean of birth and death. The spiritual, the bona fide spiritual master, the representative of Lord Krishna, can put out the minor fires or reduce the flames of everyday life. So much more peace and tranquility and clarity of mind. And that is just the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the cooling snow that the spiritual master showers down upon our life or makes available to us. Of course, we have to take advantage, but the bona fide spiritual master makes available the cooling rain of Lord Krishna's instructions of Bhagavad Gita. Just like the doctor gives the opportunity to be free of the fever, of the typhoid, or the typhus, or whatever it is. But we have to take the medicine. We have to do it. And of course, one would feel very grateful that, oh, I had this typhoid. I almost died, but the doctor gave me the right medicine. And so you and me, all of us, almost dead or dying or burning in this fire of material life. The eyes want to see this, the nose wants to smell that, the tongue, the ears, the sense of touch, the genitals, the belly. Our body is always demanding. We have this idea, I will be happy if my body will be happy. People, that's how we live in this world. This body is me, and it's just a burning fire because it never works. Doesn't matter how many purses you have or shoes in the closet. It's not as if you go to the store, you get the fine pair of shoes, and that's it. I'm completely satisfied forever. I got my Gucci handbag and I'm done. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. You know, go to this restaurant, I get this house, this job, this food. It's always, it doesn't satisfy us. So samsara dava, nadalita loka. And Lord Krishna comes, um, incarnates, isn't it? Parichanaya sadhanam, vinasya tuduskakam, yada yadarama sad. Lord Krishna, he incarnates again and again to give the opportunity of the cooling rain. Krishna doesn't want us to suffer. He wants us to be happy, completely happy, always happy, just like any father. Oh, then why am I suffering? If he's God and he wants me to be happy, then why am I suffering? Well, because you're not following his instructions. That's why. What do you want him to do? Tie you up, wrap you in chains, make you do? Don't be lazy. That's laziness. That's laziness. It doesn't work. It doesn't even work like that with a doctor or your parents. They give the good advice and then we have to do it. That's all. Not a difficult thing in principle. So back to faith and confidence, why we believe this amazing wisdom. So different things were mentioned, that we're hearing the ancient scriptures, the knowledge is eternal, that it comes from God, the Supreme Person, that we feel happy by this wisdom. We feel something spiritual, there's something special about it. And these are all real things for each of us, why we accept. So in our Vaishnava scriptures, the different levels of devotees are described. There's certain main categories of advancement. The Kanista Adhikari, Majjhima Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, described in the Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the Kanista Adhikari is described as being interested, having some faith. They go to the temple sometimes, maybe a lot, but they don't accept the verdict of the scripture. This is one main dividing line between the level of Kanista and Madhyam. The Kanista described by the pure devotees. The Kanista Adhikari doesn't accept that the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is absolute information. They have some interest and some belief, but they're still open to listen to other sources of information. Someone with a good argument could perhaps turn them away from or cause significant doubts in the Kanista Adhikari. And the Kanista Adhikari is also described as primarily, motivated by material motivations. The freedom from distress, money, curiosity. These are the main motivating forces. And it may be said that all of us, or some of us, I don't know, but certainly in the beginning, all of us begin with this stage. Most of the world's population of religious people are either on the Kanista Adhikari or even slightly below. The Madhyama Adhikari platform begins with firm faith in the scripture and the spiritual master, that I have confidence and believe that this is absolute knowledge, unequivocally, undisputably, that whatever is revealed, I accept that. A staunch faith. And the Madhyama Adhikari, because of the staunch faith in Krishna, because you can't accept Krishna, Govinda of Mithura, Dwarka, Vrindavan without accepting the Vaishnava scriptures. Someone may have faith in God in a general way. I believe in God, which is wonderful. But to be devoted to Mataresh and Dwarkadish and Vrindavanath, Gopinath, Krishna, of course, one must accept the Vedic scriptures and specifically the Vaishnava part. So because the Madhyama Adhikari has staunch confidence in the scriptures, they are more devoted to Krishna. They are worshiping the deity of Krishna and chanting Krishna's name. Of course, the Kanista Adhikari may also, but not with the same devotion. As Lord Krishna explains in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what's that verse that Aham Savasi Prabhava Mata Sabam Pravartante. Iti Matva Bhajanti Mam. Buddha Baba Samandata. That those who know me to be the cause of all causes and the source of everything, Buddha Baba Samandata. They worship me with all their heart. So if we want to increase our, or if we want to be of assistance to help others uh, improve devotion, then Lord Krishna explains how that we need to have as firm realization of him as the source of everything. So therefore, this hearing and chanting is so important. In the Vedanta Sutra, the Vedanta Sutra, uh, many of us know, we've heard of the Upanishads. Has anyone not heard of the Upanishads? Isha Upanishad. There's 108 Upanishads. And we have a more commonly known are the four Vedas, the Rig, the Yajur, Atharva, Yajurveda, the four Vedas. They're much more commonly known, and then the Upanishads. So the four Vedas, they are full of rituals that this worship, this jagya, that jagya, this thing, you'll get good cattle and sheep and material benefits. Like most major religions of the world, they're how to please God and get what we need. And then after, or the next level are the Upanishads, which give spiritual knowledge, knowledge of eternity, knowledge of ourself, knowledge of God. And the Vedanta Sutra, uh, it is a summary. It summarizes. So it is, the Vedanta Sutra is the deepest final word on all of that spirituality in the Vedas. So the Vedanta Sutra, it begins Atato Brahma Jigyasa. That's the first verse. That now that you have the human form of life, don't just worship God to get money and have food to eat. But Atato Brahma Jigyasa, inquire who you are, inquire into your spirituality, inquire into Krishna, the Supreme Brahman. That's what human life is meant for. The animals, that's all they do is eat and sleep. But you can do more than that. Then the next verse, Atato Brahma Jigyastra, is, and how will you do that? Shastra Yonitva, by understanding Shastra. And it is commented that really the purpose of human life is to study scripture. Just like we hear in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam says the same thing. And why does it say the same thing? At the end of every chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says Vedanta Sutra Bhashyam. Vedanta Sutra Bhashyam. That this Srimad Bhagavatam, it is the commentary on the commentary of Vedic spirituality. There is no final analysis of Vedic spirituality beyond Srimad Bhagavatam, according to the author. It's not my opinion. What do I know? I don't know anything. But the author, Srila Vyasadeva, he says Vedanta Sutra Bhasya, that this Srimad Bhagavatam that I'm presenting, it is the commentary on all the Upanishads. And Srimad Bhagavatam, as we often recite before every class, that this hearing and chanting, Nasta Pareshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, that they hear Srimad Bhagavatam, as the one devotee today was sharing with us, that to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to hear Bhagavad Gita, that is the purpose of human life, and chanting Hare Krishna. And whatever we do, if we want to know whether we should do something, is it going to help me to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and chant Hare Krishna, or is it not? And if it doesn't, we don't do it. And if it does help us, we do it. Within the circle of the four regular principles, of course. So this is very neat and clean because Shastra Yonitva, the more that we realize Krishna and understand Krishna, then Buddha Bhava Samanvataha, we will be more fixed. And this is, as we were discussing, this is what separates, one thing that separates the Kanishta from the Majjhima Adhikari, is that the Kanishta Adhikari is not as fixed in, not that we have to be some professor or we have to be some big academic, that's not required. But we do have to read a little bit and try and understand Bhagavad Gita and understand the basic philosophy solidly. And that will lift us up higher and higher in Buddha Bhava Samanvataha, as Lord Krishna himself says, in part, because we know Bhakti Vedanta, that there's two sides to this. One is the understanding, the Vedanta, and the other is just the Bhakti, just the simple devotion to Krishna. We need to have both. And the more that we have both, the more solid we will be, which is good for us and it is good for others. And it is the direct instruction of our ISKCON founder, Acharya, that all of us, to our best ability, we become strong in devotional service and we become more and more fixed. And study, as Srila Prabhupada says, study my books every day, try and understand them from every angle. And as it was pointed out earlier by someone, that just doing that is transcendentally blissful. Srinvata Swakata Krishna, what is not that one? The Machita Makita Prana Bodhiantas Parasparam. What you said is completely verified by Lord Krishna himself. He says that my devotees, they derive great bliss and happiness by always hearing about me and speaking about me. Prahlad Maharaj, he said, I don't have any real problems because wherever I go, I'm thinking about your transcendental activities and I'm meditating on them and speaking about them. So I am full of transcendental joy wherever I go. But what I am concerned about are all these poor people who are unaware of all of this, who are suffering unnecessarily in everyday life, who are facing rebirth and the cycle of birth and death, because they have forgotten you. And so my only desire is to be in service to help others know about you. So this is the beautiful, beautiful, magnanimous desire, personality of Prahlad Maharaj, and of course, all of our Vaishnava acharyas, full of compassion. Namo Mahavadinaya, Lord Chaitanya, so full of love and compassion. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, and of course our ISKCON founder, Srila Prabhupada. Although sometimes when we read the writings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, or we listen to Srila Prabhupada, or see him recorded videos of him giving lectures, he seems so serious and stern and maybe even fierce, so strong. But actually, the pure devotees of Lord Krishna are described as having a heart which is soft like butter or melted gold, beautiful melted gold, soft as a rose and strong as a thunderbolt. Out of compassion in service, just like a mother. You know, when the child runs in the middle of the road, the mother sometimes grabs the child and shakes the child and yells at the child. It's like, my God, what are you doing? Uh, but it is out of love. She is so fierce because she doesn't want the child to suffer. So our Srila Prabhupada also just so full of love. You know, looking at the different videos of Srila Prabhupada, we have these Prabhupada darshans. If you go on YouTube, you can find Prabhupada darshan, um, hours and hours, and you can see so many times his eyes, they are wet with tears, moist, so kind. And if he is strong, then it is in the service of Krishna. And if he is fierce, it is in the service of Krishna, in the service of divine love. His spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, said that we are prepared to shed gallons of blood to save the conditioned souls. And he is so strong, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. You never see him smiling. But actually, he is so wonderful. Maidservant of a maidservant of one of the gopis. So any questions or discussion about anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for taking us through that beautiful um, reasoning, rationale, and also making us reflect as to why we why we come to the Srimad Bhagavatam classes every day. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. A quick question, Prabhuji, since we are reading about Lord Brahma seeing Vaikuntha. Now, the Lord, it was Garbhodaksha Vishnu who gave darshan to Lord Brahma. And then as I was reading, I just felt a bit curious that the description that Lord Brahma is giving of Vaikuntha planets is of all the Narayans. However, he does not give the description of Golok Vrindavan. And why is that so? Is that because it was because of Vishnu giving him darshan, who himself has 4 hands? And is that the reason as to why only the Narayan Vaikuntha planets are shown and not Golok Vrindavan, the top one?
I don't know exactly. Next time I see him, I'll ask.
No, I just
But
felt
we,
quite.
but we, but we, but we, but we know that of course we all have different rasas with Krishna, and according to them, Krishna reciprocates with us, and this is obviously how Krishna was reciprocating with him. And of course, we know that this was for the purpose of, for the knowledge to descend, for this understanding to come down. On the other hand, Lord Brahma had several pastimes with Gopi Janavallabha, Damodar Krishna, right? In Vrindavan with the Brahma Vimohana Leela.
Yeah.
So apparently he does have such rasa with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Vrindavan pastimes. That's a very good question. Yes, why not? Why not?
Yeah, it makes sense. No, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
One thing, so why am I here? Well, because a long time ago I met devotees on a college campus, and there was one devotee, and he had these eyes, and he looked at me, and just sat me, And I've been hypnotized since. That's what happened. Yeah. But I must admit, and I say it with some sadness, that about my misfortune, that definitely, I'm not sure if I want to say stupid, but misfortunate to be a little like this Dr. Frog, always skeptical. Although in my heart, somehow I completely accepted it almost immediately. At the same time, my mind didn't accept it. It was just too much. I mean, a fish incarnation, boar incarnation. I didn't know what to think. It was just so, because I had never thought much about God, and all of a sudden I meet these people and they're telling me, yes, there is God, and it's blue. He runs from his mother, and she chases him with a stick, and he appears as a boar. You're supposed to make of that. I just flipped my wig. But somehow, by Lord Krishna's grace, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, before I had met the devotees, somehow I had come to the conclusion that the Vedas had the most pure, perfect knowledge. I think Lord Chaitanya was reciprocating with Srila Prabhupada or something, delivering the most fallen, because it was just a very odd situation to have, on the one hand, a kind of very deep, absolute faith that this is absolutely true. I called my father after 3 weeks. I said to him at one point, I said, whether you believe it or you don't, or whether I believe it or not, it's true. It's just a matter of how we're going to deal with it. So somehow I had that kind of conviction, but my mind was not accepting. And it was Mr. Skeptic. I wanted proof. Uh, so, like chanting Hare Krishna and experiencing the truth of it in little bits. That, well, I chanted Hare Krishna and you're supposed to feel happy. I felt happy. Okay. That's it. That connects. And then, like you said, just practicing, putting the knowledge into practice, especially about the three modes of material nature. That often helps many devotees. Lord Krishna's descriptions of the mode. Of course, I started reading the chapter of the modes of the divine and demoniac natures, and I was sitting on this bus, this traveling bus. I almost put the book down and walked out. I said, "I'm a demon. I don't belong here. I'm a demon." All the different verses, not all of them, but so I said, "I'm a demon." Uh, but then I kept reading, fortunately, and then it described that this is the conditioning of the mind. It's not really you, technically, and that if you can come to this mode of goodness, it will go away. Okay, I'll give it a try, and it worked. It did work. So I thought, wow, this is wow. So that that's confidence. Someone gives you a recipe, and it works. You're like, I'll try another one. Do you have another recipe? And so you develop confidence. So like we're talking about. Uh, within the path of yoga, there's certain there. It's not just some spiritual mystery. You're supposed to become more peaceful, more happy, more free of lust and greed and anger. Uh, what else? Um, oh, and here's a big one: is Lord Krishna explains that as you serve me, I give you intelligence by which to come to me. Yeah, I was a big student of psychology even before. I'm just a mental case. I'm not a student. I'm just a mental case. So trying to figure out my mental case situation. So I could see, reading the descriptions of the 13th chapter where Lord Krishna describes the difference between the mind, the intelligence, the soul, the kshetra. I was trying to understand it. You know, I had nothing better to do, I guess, and I was a bit of a loner, so I was just really kind of focused on it. It was intriguing that I'm not this body, and this mind is not really me, and this intelligence is not really me, and it was fascinating to me. And so as I began to reflect upon it, over time, I felt as though I understand this a little. I can see that what Lord Krishna is saying, what Srila Prabhupada is saying, is completely true. So, naturally, then you have more confidence that, well, if all of what he's saying here seems to be true, then probably the rest of it is true. We develop confidence. I mean, let's just put our cards on the table. This is how we develop confidence in anything. And then if there's something that just like in a relationship, you're going out with some man and everything is okay, and then you see him with another woman. So it shakes your confidence that what is this? And he had better have a good explanation so that you can get over that. So I say this because we can hurt ourselves. Like anything. Suppose you have a good doctor, he gives you treatment for pancreatic cancer, but then you don't take the treatment and it flares back up and you're back to stage 3. Oh, this doctor is just, no, it's you. Before you throw out the doctor, before you leave Krishna consciousness, before you blame Krishna, how are you doing? Were you really following the process? How strictly were you following the regulative principles? I mean, be honest. You don't have to tell anyone, but you know, uh, so we can break our own faith, if we tie our shoelaces together. We don't follow the principles, whatever. But if we follow reasonably strictly, then we should get some experience, like you were saying. Oh yeah, I feel good. I don't feel as crazy. I don't feel as angry or lustful, whatever. And so I was saying, so if we are a little thoughtful, uh, then gradually we can see how Krishna is guiding our intelligence. And we are supposed to develop this. This is another part of the Majjhima Adhikari and certainly the Uttama Adhikari platform, because this is Buddha Yoga. As we remember, Srila Prabhupada explains in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Buddha Yoga, which means that we are directed by Krishna. And that doesn't mean that necessarily God is talking to us, but our intelligence is guided at the right time, at the right place, to make the right decisions for our advancement in Krishna consciousness. And as we practice, we'll begin to see that kind of yoga maya intelligence compared to the maha maya intelligence. So anyways, yeah, so we practice, we get more confidence. And why should all these people be lying? That was another thing for me. I mean, you have all these hundreds or dozens of, and they're not just, there's so many Vaishnavas who are lawyers and doctors and professors and politicians. They're intelligent, learned people. Now, maybe 2 or 3 may tell us some lies or something, but dozens over centuries? That's not very likely. Not very likely. So, mass delusion, they're all, so there's different reasons that we can, that help us to have confidence, more faith. So I'll stop here. Anything else? Any other questions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. We have exhausted our time and I don't see any questions. So thank you for today's session. I just would like to, like when you were talking about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and Srila Prabhupada, like when I first came into the Krishna conscious movement, when I just started listening to Srila Prabhupada, I couldn't understand anything he said. And I am from an Indian background, so, and I do speak Hindi and I speak the language, but I just couldn't understand him at all. And as I grew into it, now, I mean, I'm addicted to listening to him. So I guess what you said was correct. I think it's how you, it's a journey. You will not get it immediately. And it's a process, and you just have to have the faith in the process. And why would people lie? I mean, what are they benefiting? I mean, most of the sects of religion that I have seen, they want this money, or they want this, that. And ISKCON is one thing that they never, I mean, they gave you, they just want to feed you with prasadam. So they never expect anything from you. So they just want you, your pure self. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, yeah. So I think we can end this session. Can I ask Dennis Prabhu, are you able to end the session for today? Bhakta Mugo, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Professor Kritika Mataji, for this opportunity. Now that you have asked me to end the session, maybe before I end the session, just a clarification, Prabhuji. I've seen about there's ladies in Vaikuntha and men in Vaikuntha. Does that mean that our soul have gender? Maybe a quick one, but maybe you can. I'll ask the next time that you're here. So
I didn't quite hear that. Can someone repeat it? Was that a question or a statement?
So it's a question. It was a question. Yeah. Maybe your mic is low, so I can echo what you said. So in Vaikuntha, are there gender differences? Are there men and women different?
Yes. Yeah. Apparently, yeah, they look female and they have female personality because it's spiritual bodies. But yes, there are male and female. Cows, female cows, male cows, female monkeys, male monkeys. Yeah. That's the information. We have them here. Why not there?
Thank you. I also like to ask the assembled devotees to kindly unmute, and we chant one round of Mahamantra in glorification of our dear teacher today, His Grace, DinaSharana Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace DinaSharana Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you so much for your company.
Jai. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
If you'll have me back again, I would appreciate it.
For sure, Prabhuji, next Sunday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Everyone be well. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.